Is Jordan, which is kind of annoying this question, but now that LeBron is the all-time leading scorer in NBA history with over 39,000 point careers, also ranking top 5 in assists and still climbing rankings in rebounds, blocks, and steals, all while consistently playing 20-plus seasons at an elite level for an old man, winning 4 championships, 4 MVPs, and making 19 All-NBA teams. Who is better, Jordan or LeBron?
You know, those are some incredible stats.
They are.
Those are some incredible stats. I'm never going to say anything bad about LeBron, I told you. I think he's the 3rd best player I've ever seen play after Michael and Kobe. It's just different eras. I love LeBron. I'm not going to say anything bad about him.
In the team's best interest, in your best interest to play all 82. Is that something you thought about at all since you made the goal?
That's a goal, but we'll see. But I don't. It's something I ain't discussing right now.
1 hour later.
Something like this. Is there many things you lean on to try to?
And I had a teammate. He says, "You twist your ankle, young fella. Come over and sit with me. You know, this is you need to." I said, "No, man. I'm trying to make a name for myself. There's no way I can sit. You know, I need to get out there and show what I'm capable of. I want to play. I want to win. I want to make an impact."
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
A LeBron James superfan walked up to Charles Barkley with every stat memorized and every accolade locked and loaded, carrying the kind of confidence that comes from believing the numbers will speak for themselves. What happened next dismantled his entire argument piece by piece. But the real destruction didn't come from Barkley alone. Michael Jordan recently broke his silence on NBC and made statements that demolish every single point this superfan tried to make. And here's what makes it so brutal. Jordan wasn't in the room, never responded to this fan directly, and didn't even know this conversation happened. What he said publicly humiliates the entire case for LeBron without ever mentioning the superfan's name. And by the time you hear everything Jordan revealed about his own mentality and what he thinks about modern players, you'll understand why the stats-only argument for LeBron falls apart completely when you put it in front of people who actually watched both players dominate in their prime. Barkley was doing a fan Q&A session when this guy approached the microphone and his name happened to be Jordan, which makes the whole thing even more ironic. You could tell immediately that he came prepared because he had that courtroom energy, like he was about to deliver a closing argument that couldn't be beaten. That started flying out of his mouth rapid fire. Over 40,000 career points, making LeBron the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. Top 5 in assists and still climbing the rankings in rebounds, blocks, and steals. 22 seasons of elite-level basketball with 4 championships and 4 MVPs paired with 21 All-NBA team selections. These numbers landed like haymaker punches one after another, and the crowd started buzzing because, on paper, that resume sounds absolutely untouchable. Arguing against the all-time leading scorer who also sits top 5 in assists seems impossible, and dismissing 21 All-NBA teams across more than 2 decades of production feels like a losing battle. The fan wrapped up his presentation and basically demanded that Barkley explain how anyone could possibly stack up against those credentials, and that's when everything shifted. Barkley sat there for a moment with this look on his face, like a teacher about to explain something painfully simple to a student who thinks they've outsmarted the curriculum. The first thing out of Barkley's mouth caught the fan completely off guard because he didn't trash LeBron at all. Those stats are incredible, and LeBron is an amazing player, one of the greatest Barkley has ever seen, according to his own words. But then the first bomb dropped, and it's the one that Steph Warriors never want to acknowledge.
It's just different eras. I love LeBron. I'm not going to say anything bad about him. He didn't go to college for 3 years. You have to factor that in also. He had a 3-year head start on Michael. Okay, since you want me that. So, I'm going to just give a couple of things about, if he wanted to do it fair, he would say, well, how many games did Michael Jordan play compared to LeBron?
LeBron skipped college entirely and entered the NBA at 18 years old, while Jordan spent 3 years at North Carolina before going pro, which gave LeBron a 3 to 4 year head start from the very beginning. Every counting stat in LeBron's column includes thousands of points, rebounds, and assists that Jordan never had the opportunity to accumulate because he was still playing college basketball while LeBron was already putting up numbers in the league. And that's when Barkley reframed the entire conversation with one simple question. If you want a fair comparison, why not look at how many points each player scored in the same number of games played? That math reveals something the raw totals hide completely, because Jordan scored roughly 5,000 more points than LeBron across the same number of contests. And 5,000 points translates to about 2.5 full NBA seasons worth of scoring.
And actually, if you look at the numbers, Michael actually had 5,000 more points in his career, same number of games. 5,000, which is 2.5 NBA seasons. But you have to factor in, Michael went to college for 3 years. And if you remember, he broke his foot his first year, and he retired for 2 years. So if Michael went to the NBA 3 years sooner, not missed his rookie year with a broken foot, and not retired for 2 years, he would be the all-time leading scorer.
Barkley kept pushing and pointed out that Jordan broke his foot in his second season and missed almost the entire year, then walked away from basketball for 2 full seasons to play minor league baseball. Give those years back and the whole picture changes. If Jordan had entered the NBA at 18 like LeBron, if the broken foot never happened, and if baseball never called his name, Michael Jordan would be sitting at the top of the all-time scoring list right now instead of LeBron. The fans stood there without a response because the logic is airtight, and when you adjust for the extra seasons LeBron accumulated, the gap vanishes entirely and actually reverses direction. But here's the thing, Barkley was just warming up, because another stat had recently surfaced on Inside the NBA that genuinely shocked him, and this one puts the whole longevity argument into a completely different light. 562 games where Jordan scored 30 or more points across 15 seasons. LeBron James, after 22 seasons of professional basketball, sits at 559 30-point games, which means 7 additional years of playing time still haven't been enough to catch Jordan in explosive scoring performances. That reaction makes sense because this single number demolishes the idea that longevity automatically equals greatness. Jordan's career scoring average sits at 30.1 points per game, which remains the highest mark in NBA history, while LeBron comes in at 27.0, which is still incredible but noticeably lower. 10 scoring titles went to Jordan during his career, compared to exactly 1 for LeBron. When you look at those numbers together, the all-time scoring record starts looking, a lot less impressive, because LeBron didn't reach it by outscoring Jordan. Outlasting him got him there, and those are 2 completely different achievements.
Can I say one thing?
Sure.
Did you ever look at how many shots Michael Jordan took and how many shots LeBron took?
I did not.
Michael
They
Jordan.
were both gunners.
Michael Jordan took way more shots.
Well, that was his job.
It's all about winning championships.
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
This is where Barkley's argument moved beyond statistics in the territory that genuinely bothers LeBron supporters, because the numbers stop mattering, and the conversation becomes about how these 2 players built their careers. Jordan's entire championship run happened with one franchise. The Chicago Bulls drafted him. The Detroit Pistons beat him up for years in the playoffs, and instead of looking for an easier path elsewhere, he stayed and figured out how to conquer them. What he built in Chicago transformed a struggling organization into the greatest dynasty of the 90s, producing 6 championships in 8 years with the same core group and 0 instances of abandoning ship when adversity showed up. LeBron took a completely different route. 7 years in Cleveland without getting over the hump led to the decision and a move to Miami to team up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. And that single choice rewrote how superstars approach their careers. The modern superteam era, where stars coordinate in free agency to chase rings instead of building something where they already are, started right there. Miami started declining and LeBron headed back to Cleveland, where he immediately pushed for a Kevin Love trade. That situation got difficult too, which led to another departure for Los Angeles and a partnership with Anthony Davis. 4 different franchises and 3 different championship cores that he either joined or personally constructed paint a very different picture than Jordan's single-team dynasty. Barkley has held this position for years, with Jordan first, Kobe second, and LeBron third, specifically because of this pattern, and team stacking is how he describes it. Julius Erving recently left LeBron completely off his top 2 all-time teams for the exact same reason, saying LeBron led the charge in assembling these rosters. The Scottie Pippen counter-argument always comes up, but there's a fundamental difference that people skip over. Jordan didn't recruit Pippen because the Bulls drafted him through their own scouting, and Jordan didn't flee Chicago because the Pistons kept eliminating him, but stayed until he conquered them. Building a championship team through the draft looks nothing like handpicking your co-stars through free agency and forcing trades. After all this back and forth, someone posed the ultimate question to the fan. Forget the spreadsheets for a moment, and in your heart, with one game to win and everything on the line in a Game 7 scenario, who are you taking between LeBron, Michael, and Kobe? LeBron was the answer, and the fans stuck to his position despite everything Barkley had just explained.
And let me tell you something. LeBron, we compare him favorable to Magic Johnson. He's more of a triple threat than Michael was. I'll agree with that. But let me ask you a question. I want you to be honest with me in your heart.
All right.
If you had one game and you said, I need to win Game 7, would you want LeBron, Michael, or Kobe in one game win all?
LeBron.
Okay.
And here's the wild part, because that response actually supports Barkley's argument more than it helps LeBron's case. Michael Jordan never played a Game 7 in the finals during his entire championship career. 6 trips to the NBA Finals, and not once did a series reach a 7th game, because Jordan closed teams out before they got the chance to make it interesting. 6 championships came with 6 Finals MVP awards and a perfect record on basketball's biggest stage. The 1993 series against Phoenix produced a 41-point average for the entire matchup, and that number is not a misprint. LeBron's finals record tells a different story, with 10 appearances standing as an incredible accomplishment on its own, but 6 of those ended in losses, including 3 against the same Golden State Warriors squad. A 4-6 record means more championship rounds lost than won. The standard response is that losing in the finals beats not making it there at all, and there's logic in that statement. But here's the thing, Jordan did make it there 6 times and won every single one of those series. Nobody ever got the chance to call him a loser on the biggest stage because he flat out refused to lose when everything was on the line. NBC recently brought back NBA coverage for the first time in over 20 years and pulled off something massive by getting Michael Jordan to return. Not as a player, obviously, but as a special contributor to their broadcast. Jordan rarely does interviews because this guy has been ghost for decades, showing up for his brand and maybe talking business, but actual basketball commentary almost never happens. When NBC announced he'd be sharing his thoughts on the game, people paid attention. The first segment dropped during opening night, with Jordan talking about legacy and paying it forward and missing the competition, which was pretty standard stuff. But then the second segment aired, and that's when things got spicy, because the topic was load management, and Jordan didn't hold back even a little.
At 82, what do you think of when you hear the term load management thrown around?
It shouldn't be needed, first and foremost. You know, I never wanted to miss a game because it was an opportunity to prove. It was something that I felt like, you know, the fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy.
Load management shouldn't even exist, according to Jordan, and he explained that every single game was an opportunity to prove himself. But here's where it gets real, because Jordan started talking about the fans, specifically the people sitting way up in the cheap seats who worked their whole lives just to afford one ticket to see him play. Those fans mattered to him, and he didn't want to let them down, because playing wasn't just about him. It was about the person who saved up everything just to watch him perform once. Think about that for a second. Jordan was talking about duty and responsibility and understanding that when you're making tens of millions of dollars a year, you owe it to the people paying to see you play to actually show up. And he made it clear that if you're physically able to play, then you play, with no excuses, no rest days, and no load management. And then Jordan revealed something incredible that nobody talks about anymore because it doesn't exist in today's NBA. The love of the game clause allowed Jordan to do something absolutely wild by today's standards. If Jordan was driving down the street and saw a pickup game happening on the side of the road, he could pull over, jump in, and play. And if he got hurt doing it, his entire contract stayed fully guaranteed.
How did that love of the game fuel
your career. It was the basis of my career. My love of the game within my contract, which, I'm pretty sure most contracts now, I'm actually positive now, don't have that clause within the contract where
You had a clause in your contract.
love of the game contract that if I was driving with you down the street and I see a basketball game on the side of the road, I can go play in that basketball game. And if I get hurt, my contract is still guaranteed. I love the game so much that I would never let someone take the opportunity for me to play the game.
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Drop your thoughts in the comments about whether LeBron's longevity argument holds up against Jordan's peak dominance, or if the perfect finals record closes the case permanently. Smash that like button if this breakdown made you see the debate differently, and subscribe because we're just getting started exposing the truth behind basketball's biggest debates.